be when it's not working for 2-3 quarters to still keep pounding?
Yeah, I mean,
away?
I think that there's a fine line just based on where the game's going, and we felt like we did have time and that we were, doing some really positive things, and it was keeping us, efficient and keeping us out of those third and longers and helping us gain first downs. And so I think it's just the feel, and it's how the game's going and what the situation is. And, it was great that we could answer. And when you hit some big ones like that, like we did, certainly allows you to stay in that mode. So we just kept it close enough. We kept answering. And defensively, we played just well enough in the second half to allow us to stick with the run game.
I'm sorry, I was just going to follow real quick. Do you start to see some signs maybe like on that early in the third quarter? It looked like maybe there was a little bit more daylight than there had been, at least in the first half. Do you start to see things like that and say, okay, it's coming?
Yeah, I mean, we always want to avoid, negative plays, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. Mostly it's execution, but working with some of the things that we did, and with the silent cadence and the noise, and give them credit, with their run pressures and how they played. But just really proud of our guys with the effort, in which they played with in all three phases. And again, it has to be better. We can play better, but that was a big game for us, just the way that we all played in the second half.
What do you like about how Christian Fulton's playing early, and do you see his confidence maybe growing because of it?
I think he's played, well. I think that we had high expectations for Christian and the way that he performed in the offseason and how he performed in training camp. And, confidence is a large part of life and football, and obviously, most importantly, playing corner. You get beat, you come back, you made a mistake, came back, made a play, got us off the field on third down. So those are all really positive things. And, I thought he did a nice job of, not getting into it anything after the whistle. We finally, eliminated some of the dumb stuff that gets you beat. That was, there was a bunch of opportunities for us to do some of those things. And, we stopped short of getting any sort of penalties.
Outside of that big play, I think it was a 68-yard touchdown on third down. Pretty much everything else seemed like it was in order. What was clicking for you guys to, have that vast improvement?
Well, I mean, I think we swarmed. I think they played hard. I thought that they, executed the plan on third down. I thought that there was a level of a rush that forced him out of there. And, even on the first one, he took off and scrambled and was short of it. And unfortunate, again, that we had the communication and the breakdown there on the 3rd and 11. But I think the biggest thing is that we have to make them earn everything. It's hard to win, when you give up, 200 yards on 5 plays. I mean, that's, you're lucky. You're really lucky to win that way. But then you have to look at the other, 50 that gained 180. You're playing pretty good defense when you can have 50 snaps that gain 180 yards. We got to get some turnovers, though.
Mike, any clarity with Taylor Lewan at this point? And then also Roger also left the game. Any update on him as well?
No, Roger didn't finish, and obviously Taylor wasn't available. So I think we'll know more as we work our way through the week, and we'll see if we get both of those guys back.
What about Dan Cruikshank? He had, I think it was like 34 snaps, a lot of dime packages. What can you say about his play and how that helped kind of shape things?
Dane needs to. He had some mistakes, and there's some plays he'd like to have back. But I thought he played fast and showed up. He played with a speed that I think we are looking for. So I think he did enough to probably earn some more opportunities.
What do you think the guys up front answered the challenge from last week, especially going in, losing the starter, and then, like you said, losing Saville during the game?
Can't say enough about that group. It's this. That's who we are, man. At the end of the game, they're picking themselves off the ground, and but they battled, they competed. They got us a couple times on some pressures on third down that we have to be better on. but they gave us a chance to win. That unit certainly gave us a chance to win, and Ty stepping in there, that's something that he's done in the past, and then Bruce stepping in there and being in there for Roger. That's kind of what we expect of them, and they did that.
A few times
what is it
about
that when the line is kind of patchwork like that Derek seems to run a little stronger, harder? Can you put your finger on anything as to why that seems to work so well?
I don't know. Maybe the guys that are in there, playing hard and trying to get some extra efforts. And I'm not sure if Derek knows the difference, but maybe it's just a good coincidence.
Guys like Michael Pruitt, Jeremy McNichols maybe give you a spark in the game, and how much does that do for a team when you've got guys when they step in and perform like they did?
Well, we did a nice job of hitting some of those checkdowns that when they took off and got some depth. Ryan was able to find some completions and help us out with a check down, whether that be Derek or Jeremy or Prue.
times about how teams use speed in the slot a lot more as their slot receiver. Is that something Elijah's getting used to, you think, as well? Is that something he has to adjust to?
I mean, I think that, there's a lot of ways that you can do your job, and I think that he probably has to understand, what his skill set is and what the other player's skill set is, and be able to try to disrupt them and, find different ways to cover them. And, that was one of the big plays, and, we couldn't get him on the ground when he did catch it down the field. That, they're going to catch passes and they're going to make some plays. We just have to, be able to get them on the ground and limit the X-play touchdown.
Opinion how the non-safety was ruled at the end for progress for the quarterback, and just anything on film that made you think potentially could have been called a game ender?
No. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and debate the officiating. They didn't see it as a safety, and apparently they saw it as in the grasp and called a sack, and that's what it was.
On that last drive, I know you talked yesterday about whether you go for two or not. When do you make that call even before you guys get the ball? Do you make it during the drive, or when does that decision take place?
It probably takes place, well before that, when we take possession and just thinking, obviously, here we are, if we get into the drive, right, if we get a first down, you're probably in 4-down territory. If you don't, you're probably going to, punt and try to use, 3 timeouts. Then once you get into the drive, it's, hey, we're in 4 down. And then, knowing that, how much time do they have left, and do you feel like, they're going to be able to come back and attempt a field goal or kick a field goal, right? So they get down there low, and we kind of figured that we were going to kick the extra point.
I've got a question from the audience. Corey just wants to know about your team's response to adversity and just what that says about the culture.
Who's this from, Emily?
It's from Corey Curtis.
Oh, I thought you were having it from like a actual fan or somebody. Yeah, I mean, I just think that's kind of who we are, and that's something that we have to embrace. We have to be able to build on the efforts that we played with in the second half, understand what got us to that point to eliminate those, our ability to take care of the football, our ability to score in the red zone, our ability to get off the field, our ability not to we have to play better in 2 minutes at the end of half. Let them out of bounds 4 times. It's inexcusable not to look over and get the call. All those types of things. But the silver lining is who we want to be, and sometimes what we have been here in the past kind of came to light there in the second half. So hopefully we can build on it. It's my job to show everybody what it is that we can be in that environment with those circumstances there in the second half.
How big is it to have a win like this where you're overcoming so much adversity early on in the season when you inevitably face some adversity down the road?
Yeah, there's always going to be adversity every week. There's going to be something that happens. There's going to be things that come up, situations that come up. You want to try to be as consistent and as calm and as controlled as you can be prepared for things, and then allow the players to go play. And I'm just proud of the way that they played in the second half, and at a lot of times in the first half. For us, our ability to put a long drive together. Unfortunately, it ended in a field goal, but there was a lot of great things going on that long drive offensively. Defensively, just have to continue to make them earn it and not hand them things, and then find a way to play better on special teams.
Your team has been pretty successful in tight games during your time here. How much of that can carry over from last year into a game like this, like part of the culture, or how much is it important to establish a win like yesterday to help it carry over into the rest of the
season? I think you probably need them each and every year. I don't think you can go back too long, but I don't think there's much panic. I think that we controlled the situation there at the end. Being able to go in there and score, use the clock how we wanted to, have conversations about not rushing, and you don't want to leave a lot of time left for some of these quarterbacks and offenses. So I thought that was handled well. I thought our players understood what we were trying to do. Little conversation there about taking the runoff or using the timeout. So felt like we all were in unison in how we communicated that situation.
Patience with the rushing game, is that something like you guys discussed that throughout the week? Hey, we're going to do what we're going to do regardless. Like, how does that mindset develop?
Well, not regardless. I don't think you can ever go into a game and predict how it's going to go. You have to be willing to adjust and adapt, and make some changes on the sidelines in all three phases. But then there's just a sense that as long as you're in the game and you can continue to be positive with it, and hey, we're one away, or maybe there was one missed block, or there was a missed cut, or things that are close. You look like when it's close, you kind of want to stick with it, and when it doesn't look like it's very positive, you kind of got to move on to something else.
With Coach Downing, he has said that he wanted to make sure that your offense is dictating what happens. Is that patience in the rushing attack? Is that a part of that?
Well, it is, and it also goes to set up a lot of the stuff that we're doing. We were able to convert some third downs that now got us into drives that now allowed us to hit a play pass, allowed us to hit, a shot down the field. But, that all is predicated on getting into the drives and trying to set some things up.
On the other side of that, Pete Carroll had said that they were guarding all day against letting Derrick Henry break one. When it did, from you guys' perspective, can you see physically on the other side how it takes the wind out of their sails when that happens?
I think so. When when Derrick's able to get to the second level and run past, one of their faster players and one of their better players, it got started. AJ got us into the play. Blocked Adams. He's down there around the line of scrimmage and does such an excellent job. We got everybody covered up. We came back. Julio was able to get a block that, on the backside that, the play's never designed to go there. Just keep asking some of our better players that aren't, involved with, that don't have the football in their hand to be able to help us in other ways. And they did that, most of the time. And, just an outstanding effort by Derrick in the run game and a lot of other people.
Improved in the passing game over your seasons, and how much does that allow you to keep him in that much more even than he had before? Well, I guess whether it's pass blocking or receiving.
Yeah, we got it was good that Derrick caught all the ones that we threw to him, and really that was allowed us to get usually a first down. We had a lot more on the screen. We got to look at it, look at our effort, and look what happened there, which we will. But his ability to catch the football and get up north and south and those check down opportunities is good.
Blocker now, also pass blocking.
Yeah, he blocked Adam sometimes. He did some nice things. That's just an example of playing without the football. Having to protect on some of those blitzes and being willing to do that, and he did.
AJ usually catches some of the ones he didn't yesterday. You think he was pressing, and you say anything to him to kind of encourage him, or anything stand out to you about him not being able to do that yesterday?
I would say just uncharacteristic. I think that we all have come to expect a high level of performance from AJ, and he expects a lot from himself. So we just have to focus on concentration, focus on, the week of practice and making those plays and visualizing them and finishing them.
The crowd yesterday, what you kind of expected, how did it rank as far as some of the loudest venues you've been around?
At the beginning or at the end?
Toward the end.
No, I mean it's a really difficult place to play. I mean it is, but I felt like we embraced it. I felt like we were ready for it. Guys responded. Thought that the plan was good. Some of the stuff that we did to help negate that wasn't perfect, but the more that you execute, the more that that goes away.
For the competition committee, I know you've kind of been supportive of the crackdown on taunting, but I wonder, in your opinion, are we seeing instances where it's going too far at all, in your opinion, or do you like the way it's been handled so far?
I mean, I think anything that's directed at an opponent, whether you point at them, spike the ball, things that are directed at opponents should be taunting. Things that are directed at your teammates, your fans, your crowd, is a celebration. And I think that there's a difference. So I'm not going to look at them in a case-by-case basis, but that's one of the things that we focused on is trying not to do things that hurt the team, and taunting, would be one of those things that we put under that label. If you're excited, go make a play. If Christian Fulton makes a play, there's no reason for us to talk to Metcalf or the receiver. We should go and congratulate and celebrate with Christian Fulton.
You said you'll know more about Taylor later in the week. You feel for everybody has to deal with an injury, but for a guy who's trying to come back to kind of have a setback like that, do you feel bad for him? Did you talk to him after the game about it?
I feel bad for all our players that have injuries, that have bumps and bruises. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike.